Hey guys, if you're just now joining, we're starting our live stream, the drawing stream that we started, a few months ago. So, welcome. If you're over on YouTube live, watching over there on the live stream, then I appreciate you letting me know that you can hear me. Same thing if you're on Facebook. If you're on Facebook Live, if you could let me know that you're able to hear me, that would be awesome. Um, Hasn't happened in a long time, but it has happened in the past where I started talking and drawing and the audio wasn't working. So I just want to make sure about that before we go too far. All right. And I'm so excited about this past weekend. So we did a workshop. Um, so for those of you that were involved in that workshop, drawing Baby Luke, it was so fun. Um, I'll show you the progress that we made. I drew a little bit on it, and I'm recording my process after the workshop. Awesome, thanks, Pam. Appreciate that. Good to see you out here. So here's part of the progress that we were able to get accomplished during the workshop, and then I worked a little bit beyond that. So Claudette, thank you for letting me know over there on YouTube Live. You can hear me. Appreciate that. And I guess a happy birthday to you, Claudette. um, and so this was a lot of fun. So we're not done yet, obviously. So we've got quite a bit more to get finished on this, but we're getting close. I'm excited about the progress that I saw on the projects that so many of the students were working on. I also wanted to then share with you the next workshop coming up here. Um, here is here's the information regarding it. That is coming up this coming month, August. So towards the end of August. And if you're interested at all in that, then there's a huge discount for those of you who are over there inside Member Circle, part of Monthly Sharpener. If you're not a member, you can go sign up. All you have to do is, sign up. If you don't like it, then cancel your subscription. It's not a contract or anything like that. It's a month-to-month subscription. Sign up for 1 month, grab the reference photos, grab all the video demos that you can, and any of the other benefits over there, and then cancel if you want. Totally up to you. Chances are, though, that you won't cancel. You won't want to do that, but it doesn't hurt my feelings if you do that. That's fine. But anyway, you get a hefty discount on this particular workshop. I'm excited about this one because we're going to be focusing on skin that is, part of that aging process. So we're talking about wrinkles and things like that, and depicting white or gray hair. And then we're also handling something that we often come across with drawing portraits, and that is jewelry and eyewear. So we've got glasses in this particular portrait. We've got jewelry. We've got some wrinkles to deal with, and white hair, and then that huge tonal shift and contrast between the darks and the lights. We've got some very, very bright areas and then some very dark areas. And so, how do you make all of that balance out to where we're depicting it and it's looking representational or realistic? So, I'm excited about this one. This is 18 hours. So, over the course of 3 days, we're going to be drawing this together. And if you'd like to be part of that, then for $100 off, you can join us over there inside Members Circle. All right, I'm going to stop sharing that. And I'll set this aside. Should have that one done, completed today. So if you were part of that workshop, I'll probably have the video files for that one completed today and out there for you. All right. So we're going to go ahead and work on our drawing of little a, and get my reference over here. All right. Zoom back out just a little bit. Give us a little bit of room here. There we go. Okay. I'm still, just holding I've got my black and white version that I'm following, pretty much using that as my reference. Not a bad way to go, because it keeps the things that are most important in the forefront of your mind, and that is the values. So, all right, I did notice one thing that I wanted to go ahead and do this morning, which is just add this highlight back over here in the eye, just starting to lose it just a little bit. Just so nice when you can show that highlight there. Oh, awesome. So how are you, Sally? Thanks for joining us. We're neighbors, I guess. You're not that far away over there in Michigan. One thing we could do, sometimes you can add a little bit of an edge right there at the right there at the corner, or not the corner, but the edge of the pupil. If you can get it in there, depending on how close you are to the subject that you're depicting. And if you're too close to it, well, then obviously you're going to have some issues with that, because I can't show more detail if I'm zoomed in real far. I can't show more detail. So, all right. So Colleen Jackson Pasco. Hope I pronounced that correctly. But Colleen, thanks for joining over there on Facebook Live. So you got a question here. What would you say is the best to put in those reflective highlights? Have you ever used gouache? Well, if I want it to be a pure colored pencil piece, then I'm not going to use gouache, because I'm not wanting it to be a mixed media piece. You could do that, I suppose, if you wanted to create a mixed media piece. But otherwise, you can just reserve that area and then come back in there and add white to that highlight. I'm using a Derwent Lightfast pencil right here. Now that I'm thinking about it and you're talking to me about it, I'll just add that right there just to make sure that we've got that white in there. I can't remember if I've done that or not yet in this drawing, so it's a good thing to take a look at. Okay, so we worked quite a bit on the lips last time, and we're not done with those, obviously. I want to get more in there. go. Oh, very cool, Colleen. So you're only using colored pencil, then yeah, you'll want to try and um, just reserve it, like you said, like you mentioned. Yes, that's exactly what I would do. Is just reserve that area. Hey, Harry, how are you? Harry is joining us over there on YouTube Live. Harry was in the workshop. Good to see you out here, Harry. We're getting to that spot where we've got more um, buildup of pigment on this surface. It just takes so long on Stonehenge paper. That's what we're on. That's what we're working on. Stonehenge paper, and it's a slow process. In these workshops, most of the time, I'm using pastel mat. Just such a great paper. It's one I really love. I also love Stonehenge, and it's one that I've used for years and years. But I've found that pastel mat is so much faster, and I can get a lot of the same effects with pastel mat. So there's something about the surface quality that I'm able to get with Stonehenge that I don't know. It's a little different than what I can get on the surface of pastel mat or other papers. I mean, if you're an artist, you know what I'm talking about. Papers, it's one of those things that you're in constant search of this perfect surface. Well, you're never going to find it, right? We find that out pretty quick that it doesn't exist. We're not going to all of a sudden stumble upon a magical surface that has no issues, and we love every single thing about it. It's the same way with any materials that you may think of. There's always pros and cons to every single item, every type of material that we may use as artists. Okay. Just adding some darker values, and I'm thinking more about value right now at the moment. And I'm going to use some of my dark flesh percentages. So I think this one's dark flesh 5% right here, just to blend some of these other um, colors on the top. There's not much color this is a very muted um, pencil that I'm using right now. So, hey, Lisa, thanks for joining. So, Lisa's saying that, so you took the Alessandra workshop that we did back in, I can't remember now, maybe April I don't recall now, but so you're still working on it and trying to get the right skin tone. Awesome. All right. Did you happen to send me your work, Lisa? If you did, I'm gonna I'll try to take a look at a lot of my emails today. I'm a little behind on emails. Story of my life. But if you did send it to me, I will try to take a look. Otherwise, yeah, it's a delicate balance. Trying to get those skin tones the way we want them, right? So, okay, very cool, Lisa. I'll take a look then if I haven't already. Um, Thanks for the reminder there. I should write that down, actually. Just as sure as I don't write it down, then I'll forget. Oh, good deal, Colleen. Yeah, so late where you are. Wow. All righty. Nice to have you out here. Ah, okay. Thanks, Lisa. Yep, I will do that then. Appreciate that. Okay. Now, with this dark value under here, I've created just like this huge challenge for myself because what I wanted to do is I'm trying to change the 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 composition that I'm working on from that of the photo. So my intention is to fade everything out into white or the color of the paper when I get down this far. Okay, so I'm not going to depict this the way the photo looks. Okay, so I'm using my imagination to figure out how how much I'm going to fade this out and how much I'm going to taper it from this area all the way down to the edge of the face, right? So the whole point with this is to um, show this process on Stonehenge paper. So I'm almost done. We're going to switch papers. We're going to go with a paper that will give us some quicker results, some things that might be more appealing to and easier, more accessible to a wider audience. So we're going to go with a different support this next time. And so I'm almost done with this, and we're just going to call it done and put it away and go with probably pastel matte will be our next one. Unless we can find another surface that might be something kind of interesting. There's a lot of really cool papers out there that Legion Paper has on their site, and so a lot of different options. We might go with one of those, but I'm going to look around first and see. Strathmore offers a lot of great papers, so often I'll hear someone talk about, "Oh, I did this on Strathmore." Yeah. What are your thoughts, John? I did it on Strathmore, and that's not enough information to say I did it on Strathmore. There's so many different papers. I guess that's kind of like saying I did it on Legion paper. Well, what paper in particular? There's so many different options, right? So the surface matters a lot. What surface did you use with that particular brand, and then what type and surface? Oh, oh, you're having trouble getting those, Lisa. I know. I'm probably the last person to ask about that. If you're asking for insider tips on how to get them, if that's what you're talking about, how to get the Caran d'Ache um, luminance portrait pencils. I'm guessing that's what that that abbreviation is, right? CDL. I love it. But yeah, I don't know. That's too bad. There's a lot of issues with shipping right now. I'm sorry you're going through that. It's awful. Um, I'll tell you what I did. This is maybe something to consider if you can swing it. I just ordered a bunch of pencils all at once. I ordered all at one time. So at once, when I placed my order, I placed about three or four um, different portrait sets of those Caran d'Ache pencils. The 20 set plus the four. I ordered, I think, three at a time, and then I ordered some individual pencils out of that set also that I loved. Harry, do you know when Saturday's part two will be uploaded? I had to miss the lesson. Enjoyed the first part and the home. Oh, it's there, Harry. It's there. Yeah, if you're Harry's over on YouTube Live, yeah, it should be there. Maybe refresh the page if you're not able to see it. Okay, but yeah, it's out there. Oh, at least I knew you were gonna ask me that. Okay, where did I order from? Where? I'm pretty sure it's probably Blick. I probably ordered from Blick. That's where I usually order, and that's probably what I did. Yeah. So Harry, yeah, if you're on I would refresh the page or log out and log back in if you're not able to see it. Yeah, because it is there. Yep. Oh, it's too bad, Lisa. I am not sure. That is awful. So Harry, one thing that I do, and for those that may not know, when you when you're in one of my workshops, these Zoom workshops, then I grab the recording and I do a an audio um, scrub, what I call a scrub. I go through there and I minimize noises and I do a lot of audio editing on it and a little bit of video, but not much. Mostly the audio, so that you get a better experience and you can actually hear what's being said. You can hear everything better rather than just stick it out there the way Zoom um, handles the audio and video. They do an okay, decent job, okay job, I should say, with video. It's not in high def like I wish it was, but their audio, it's not much of a priority. And if you can't hear what's being said in the workshop, then it becomes very annoying, kind of irritating. So I do work on that, and so it takes a little bit longer. Whenever I get the video back, I go in and load it up into my video editor and my audio tools along with that and work on it. And just by way of reminder, if you do take a Zoom workshop, then you get lifetime access to the recording. If you buy the workshop after the fact, which you're able to do that, I had someone ask me about that just this weekend. If they're able to purchase the one of the workshops that we've done in the past, yes, absolutely, they're out there available inside the Sharpened Artist Academy. Those Zoom workshops are, and you can purchase those if you would like, and you get full access and lifetime access to the recording. The downside to it, I mean, you get those recordings, right? The downside is that you weren't there live to interact with everyone. So, I mean, it's fine to look at it afterwards, and you get to the benefit of hearing what other students' questions were and comments, and you get to see some of the live feedback and critiques. But there's um, there's something about just being there live on the Zoom call with us on during that workshop that just being there, interacting, and being able to see it live, and then ask your specific question. But yeah, those are available. Okay, let me come back over here. So we're working mostly in value right now, working in these percentages of dark flesh right now to be able to show some of these shadow areas in our project. Okay. I like to soften up some of these edges out here. To the shadows, these cast shadows, or the form shadows that we're seeing. Okay. But Harry, let me know if you're still not able to view the video. I really, really want to make sure that that's available to you. Hopefully it is, but if not, yeah, please, please let me know. So I'm going to go a little bit darker right here on the lips with using this Herculaneum red. The Polychromos cinnamon color is a nice substitute for Herculaneum red if you don't have Herculaneum red. Otherwise, I really like this color a lot. It's within like the peach family, if you will. That's kind of the color that we're dealing with. It's not a true pink, right? It's not a true red. It's some red with yellow in it, is what it is. So if you want to think in that direction, then you're going to be better off um, with making your choice on a color when you're trying to choose something. Let's see. Oh, good deal. Great, Harry. Awesome. You're welcome. Lisa, Lisa saying boo-hoo about the portrait set. You'll be able to get it soon, I'm sure. Have you tried Cult Pens, Lisa? Maybe try there. They might have it. Using pink white, just a little bit of this pink white right here. Let's shift that back in a lighter direction. Okay. Another nice thing to do on lips often is add a little bit of orange. I normally don't add too many other colors until I'm nearly done with a portrait. And then I'll just come back in there and then lightly glaze a little bit of these accent colors. But, it's is it necessary? No, no, you don't have to have some of these little accent colors, but it does make a more vibrant. It creates a more vibrant depiction of the portrait, and it adds a little bit of just some zing and some life in some of the colors that you're using. So I like to do it when I can and when it makes sense. Also, okay, let's add a little bit of this dark flesh 40% over here. And then my dark flesh 5%. Very, very lightly apply that, feather it out from that darker value, and go a little beyond, a little bit farther than maybe what I need to. All right, and then I can remove a little bit of some of the inconsistencies in the laydown. Depending on your surface that you're using, it may not always be necessary to do that because the layers that you add, the subsequent layers you put on top, are also going to smooth out that application layer. Okay, now I can see. I want to still use this Herculaneum red over here on this side. Got a little suggestion here of a crease right over here. Not a lot. It's a little tiny bit of a wrinkle right there. And then we'll extend that down here. Sharpen that pencil. My automatic shut off when the pencil is sharp worked that time. It doesn't always work, but it works maybe half the time or more, depending on the pencil. I did notice that seems to have a problem stopping automatically when it needs emptied. So when the reservoir gets full, sometimes it has difficulty. That might just be in my head, but it just seems to be something that I've noticed happening. Okay, let me go back to. Let's see, before I do that, I want to get rid of this edge right here. I don't want there to be a hard line right there. There we go. Still see it a little bit. I'm going to move that down just a little. Come back up there with this pink white. Okay. We'll come back over here. A little bit of a wrinkle right there that I don't want to make a big deal of because I like that the way that corners of the mouth can feather out because of this little bit of uh, the muscles there gathering in that one spot, and so the skin is moving back towards that corner of the mouth in that area because it's a round area. The muscles collect right there that wrap around the mouth. So if I can think about that in my head, it makes more sense when we start drawing that because I'm drawing a raised area. It's raised up, so there's an area that is um, depressed more back towards the mouth, and then there's an area that extends outward. So way over here on the opposite side of where that raised area is will sometimes often be a slightly darker area due to this little bulge, little tiny bulge, not a big bulge, very subtle. In certain individuals, sometimes it's more prominent than in others. Okay, we'll move back over here. Add a little more shading. You can often think of this area kind of like a bow tie. That's what I do. The shape of it. Right there above the chin, right below the bottom lip. Kind of represents a little bit of a bow tie right there. Hope you guys have had a chance to listen to the podcast this week. I think it's an exciting interview with Todd Grossbeck, and he's a sketch artist. Um, he's done a lot of different things and works in a lot of different mediums as well. But um, for me, he's most known for his sketching. He rides a bike and a bicycle, and he travels all around sketching. Um, he also has a job where he's an artist for a branch of the military, and so it's exciting. Um, it's episode number 313 in the video podcast, and we also did some excerpts into the video where I put in some of um, the illustrations and the drawings that we were talking about, and showed those while we're discussing some of the things he's doing. It's a lot of fun. That's available over there in Member Circle as well. All right, this area right here is darker than this area right in here. Um, in my opinion, now even if you look at that and you say, well, no, John, I don't see that as being darker. I don't see this area. I see it as being just as bright as this area. That may be true, and I haven't tested it, and it very well could be true. But it's still going to be a successful drawing, in my opinion, when I make that darker, because this is farther away from the light source. I couldn't make it dark earlier until I darken up everything else around here. Why? Because I could have, right? But why do I not want to do that? Because I'll break the value structure that I have in place otherwise. If I go in there and I darken up areas that don't need to be dark yet, making sure I'm using my 5% dark flesh 5%. So I want it to be slightly lighter than other darker areas around it. So this area right here that represents part of the shadow in the philtrum, it needs to be slightly darker than this area. So I can accomplish that by using tracking, just going over that area several times. That accomplishes a couple of things. It makes it darker, and secondly, it also smooths out the application layers that came on top of it. Now I come up here closer to the nose, then I've got a slight shadow happening here. If you think about those shadows as softening the farther away they are from um, the source that's casting the shadow, then you're a lot better off, because at the edge up here of the nose where it's starting to cast the shadow, then there's less pollution in and less ambient light getting to that particular shadow, right? But way out here, just like way out here, the edge, then I'm going to have a softer shadow over here because of ambient light that's surrounding the subject, all around the subject. It starts to pollute this edge. I have light coming back in. Helps with form, though. Helps us to describe form. But my point is that I'm going to have a stronger cast shadow right up there near the object that's casting the particular shadow that I'm depicting. Okay. All right, let's take a look. We're getting closer. It's a slow go. Just takes a while. That's okay. Not everything in life is fast, right? Some of the best things are slow. So I always have to remind myself about that, with regard to, to my art, right? I want to make sure that I'm able to take the time and depict something slowly, if that's the point. If it's uh, a piece of artwork that I'm wanting to um, really accomplish something large, something big, something on a bigger scale, right? But on the other hand, talking about Todd Grossbeck and um, his lifelong pursuit of sketching and becoming uh, more and more proficient as a sketch artist. That's amazing. I mean, it's something that I think every artist uh, would benefit from being involved in, is sketching, just continuing to sketch, because you're constantly honing your skills. And Todd said it really well in his interview. If you've not listened to it yet, he said something about, if you're only creating art that you're going to show someone, then you're never really warmed up. And wow, I think that's amazing. I mean, you think about that concept. Yeah, you never really warmed up. And he said, and then it can become, he said something like this. I may be misquoting him a little bit, but he said something like, uh, it can become then too stiff because you're warming up when you're sitting down to draw, your next quote unquote masterpiece, rather than being warmed up and sketching. Many of you know Shiny, who's out here quite a bit, often Shiny King, and she sketches a lot, and she is probably always warmed up because she has a very disciplined sketch habit. And she's always able to sketch because and able to draw because of that sketching habit, right? Okay. And just the acquisition of different skills, I think, are so much easier to acquire when we're sketching, like freehand skills. That doesn't come by creating quote unquote exhibition art or art for your next show. That comes, in my opinion, more when you're sketching, more when you're doodling, more when you're practicing. You've grabbed something and you're thinking about, okay, I'm my purpose right now to draw this particular thing is so that I can work on form or volume or um, noticing curve, noticing whatever, and working on those things rather than, okay, this has got to be it. Putting a lot of pressure on yourself. Now that's when I put this pencil on top of all those other layers. That's what I love about this surface, this Stonehenge surface. There's just something very nice about the way that feels. There's this nice waxy buildup that's so wonderful. All right, I am going to go ahead and stop for today. I always compare it to it's the tortoise and the hare. It's like we're the tortoise when we're working on Stonehenge paper, but the end result is just something that I'm not going to get with a lot of other surfaces. So I have to remind myself about that. Maybe you do as well. All right, thanks for joining, guys. If you're out here live today, if you're watching the replay, appreciate that as well. And if you're over on YouTube live, watching the live stream over there, and you've not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do that um, so you don't miss any future videos. One last time, I do want to show you there are some spots left right now for this particular workshop. And so that's coming up next month on the 26th through the 28th, 26, 27, 28, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And so 6 hours a day. So we'll be drawing 18 hours on that project during class. Now, I also draw, by way of reminder, I draw after the class as well. I record that and then make that available to you in case there is any loose ends that we weren't able to cover in completing the portrait and getting it all the way complete. I don't draw the project until we get inside the class, and then I start drawing the project. So you're not drawing from one of my completed drawings and making just all the choices that I made when I looked at a reference. You're drawing from a reference, and I'm showing you from the decisions that I make what choices I make, and talking about why I made those choices when I chose this reference photo. And then I start translating that and creating a drawing from that reference photo. There are decisions that you make, and there are reasons to keep in and to leave out certain things. And we go through that and talk about the thought process behind it. All right. Enjoyed it, guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.